No justice?
No peace.
If you do not give us justice in this country, you will not have peace. Thank you all for being here. The Silver Spring Justice Coalition was formed in the summer of 2018 in response to the police killing of Robert White. In June 2018, a Montgomery County police officer accosted, pursued, and then shot and killed Robert White, an unarmed black man walking in his own neighborhood in Silver Spring. The coalition began as a community response to Mr. White's needless death and to the authorities' determination that the officer's actions were lawful and justified. They justified it in a one-paragraph memo to the public, and that's all they ever told us. Since then, SSJC has documented numerous instances of abusive and violent police behavior in this county. And now another black man, Finan Berhe, has been killed by Montgomery County Police. This is unacceptable. Systemic changes must be made, and the Silver Spring Justice Coalition has several demands. They include, first, that the 3rd District Commander, Darren Franke, and the Police Chief, Marcus Jones, resign immediately. They have failed to provide oversight of police to ensure that residents in distress will not be killed or harmed. And in fact, the officer was in charge of police training before he was promoted to command the 3rd District. We also demand that the Montgomery County Council and County Executive Mark Elrick institute real changes. We demand new policies that require the use of de-escalation tactics. Other police departments have done this. We demand new policies that require the use of force to be the last resort. Other police departments have done this. We demand new policies that require police to call a mental health crisis unit when someone shows evidence of mental health distress, and that these units be available 24/7. This also includes looking into the Police Incident Documentation Project. We demand real consequences when these policies are not followed. This means changes at the county and state level. In Maryland, the Law Enforcement Bill of Rights, also known as LEOBOR, prevents police accountability and is one of the worst laws of its kind in this country. It must be repealed so we stop protecting bad police. We want our rights. We demand transparency with public reports on how these policies are being followed and what actions are being taken if they are not. The police work for us, and they must be accountable to us. And we demand investment in our communities. What keeps us safe is housing and mental health services and a living wage. The police in Montgomery County get close to $300 million a year. Huge police budgets and repression don't keep us safe. Well-resourced and supported communities are safe communities. We need to do all of these things because we must rethink how we keep communities safe, and we must reduce the harm caused by police, especially for those who experience harm disproportionately. Black residents, Latinx residents, Indigenous residents, LGBTQ residents, young people, people with disabilities, people in mental distress, and people experiencing homelessness. To everyone, I ask you, will you join us in these demands? Will you join us in these demands? I ask you, will you continue to show up for our neighbors who are experiencing harm caused by the police? There is one more thing you can do today. We are handing out flyers, and there is a link to an email action you can take to send messages to the county council and county executive. Please go to this link to take action so our elected officials see how widespread the support is for these changes. I ask you, will you take action? I want to close by talking about the thousands of protests across the U.S. and across the world of the police murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis. George Floyd's brutal murder has woken up many to the reality of police violence that has been going on for hundreds of years in this country. We also need to specifically call out the murder of black trans people. Tony McDade, a trans man, was killed by police in Florida last week, and his name is not in the news. Please say his name with me. Tony McDade. Tony McDade. Black trans people cannot be erased from this conversation. And black women, we cannot be erased. While the police in Minneapolis have been arrested, the cops who shot and killed Breonna Taylor in Louisville have not. We must not try to erase any police violence. There is one more thing that I want you to say with me. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Say their name.